Welcome back to another episode of Dad's Toy Garage. Today Tony and I are going to be getting these Mustang wheels and tires mounted to the front of the car. We picked up a set of adapters that are going to allow us to do that. It will also make the front of the car a little wider, which will help with stability. And I'm going to be doing some more quarter panel work. Tony's going to be doing some engine based stuff. So follow along, let's have some fun. The last step in this trunk fabrication floor is covering up these frame rails that I made. So we're going to build a piece of floor for there and for there. Here is the trunk floor corner for the passenger side. I built it as one piece and we're going to weld it in. I got the trunk floor done on this side. It covers up the frame rail. It's the bottom of the rocker. That's going to kind of drop down that much once I'm done building the bottom portion. You can see where I've cut the bottom of the lower quarter panel off. So then I've got this one and it'll slide up in the bottom here. I built the bottom of the quarter panel for the passenger side. It's now attached to the inside trunk piece that I made in here. So if you look under the car, it's all finished and attached. This is our driver's side trunk closeout panel that covers up the frame rail. And it's going to go cover this frame rail space here. I got the bottom of this quarter panel welded back together, and you can see where I had to patch it. I had to make one corner there, and I took it from this wheel tub here that we cut out. It had a good enough shape. I had to take, and then I made this and this from scratch, and this was done before, these two. And the trunk floor is done here. It's all tacked into place. Right, the next thing we got to do on these rear quarter panel wheel tubs is build these inside pieces for the very back, and then we can solid weld up these rear quarter panels and inside wheel tubs. Everything is just tacked at this point. I got this piece in the back of the wheel arch, so this tub is all tacked into place here. I got to build this little wedge yet to fill in. When we cambered it in, it actually is a good thing for our wheel arches. Now instead of a 3-inch lip between here to here, we only need to have a 2 1/4 inch lip. Well, we would like to put these matching set of wheels and tires on the front of our car. The back's already got them. So what we've ordered is this set of hub adapters that allows you to go from a Miata bolt pattern to the Mustang bolt pattern. So we're going to give that a shot and see if we can get these pieces to work. Okay, so the hub adapters are in two pieces. The one end bolts right to the brake drum. The issue we're having is our lug nuts from the Miata and Celica apparently are all the same. But the issue is I can't get a socket in there, so we got to get a smaller lug nut that we can put a socket in there. And here's the other half, and they kind of just bolt together.
We're working on installing the alternator, which we got a used one from a wrecker. Our connector is this one. So you see how the back of it's smashed? And here, so it's not going to be sealed against the weather. So I'm working on de-pinning them and switching these pins over to this good connector.
So there's little tabs you poke in there and then they pop out?
Yeah, there's a little quick release.
So do you have to put solder the new ends on, or are you just going to put the pins back in there?
Just put the pins in because they're still good. You just have to push them towards the front of the connector to release the tabs. These ones are pretty good. This can be quite a pain sometimes. So.
Good thing it's not old yet, eh?
Yeah, that's right. They're all in.
Anything
there we go.
Say?
And then this is the retainer that makes sure that those little pins don't come out.
So that's brand
all
new?
set. So as long as I'll probably throw some. It looks like they got pinched a little bit right here. So maybe throw some liquid electrical tape or something on them yet, just to make sure that they're not going to corrode over time. But yeah, all good. Then there's one other issue here with the alternator. This stud this nut didn't want to come off, and so I was trying to hold this because you can't put much torque on this without wrecking it inside because it's not proper. It's just secured with plastic, right?
Yeah.
To ice insulate it. So I was holding onto this with a vice grip to try to loosen it without breaking anything, and this broke off. So now we're gonna have to cut this off with a die grinder wheel, I guess, and then
Oh,
yeah. So
nice,
you
easy.
could try with an impact, but it might break, might not. So
we don't need 2 broken ones, right?
that's right.
A nice easy install or what?
A little few more issues, but that's used stuff for you.
Yeah.
Now I'm dealing with that stuck nut. So I've broken a starter before taking off a nut that's too tight, so I don't want it to happen to our alternator. So I'm cutting away part of the nut so that either it'll fall off or even the grinding heats it up enough that you can often take them off. I tried it now and it is still too tight. So I'll cut the other side and then I should be okay. As long as I don't take much of the thread, I'll be fine as far as having thread to tighten it down later. Okay,
Hey,
so I got both sides cut off now, if you look at the stud, and now it does spin loose. So,
Oh yeah, I see that.
yeah.
That worked quite well for you?
It did, at least saved me wrecking the alternator, so, or our alternator. So.
It's not like we need 3 of them, right?
That's right, we already have 2. So.
And apparently they wanted the core of the one that will never be usable again, hey?
Yeah, seems like wreckers always seem to want a core, so.
Cool.
Well, yeah, exactly. So we've got our alternator here now installed. It's sitting on the dowels up here, and mounted. Just barely clears if you aim the camera down there. Just barely clears our engine mount. And there's a stud in the back there.
Oh, very
it's a little
nice.
Hard to see, but
yeah.
And then I found 3 random bolts that'll all different lengths because the bolts all have different amount of thread into the block. So. Mounted, and then we got to clean up the wiring in the front a bit, route it away from stuff that will damage it.
What kind are you talking about?
All that wiring.
Oh yeah, that might be bad news.
Yeah, and then I think that, I guess, and then we got to do a T here for the coolant, the degas bottle.
Yeah.
And after that, then the front, I guess, put the belt on, and then pretty much ready to drive it as far as this part of it's concerned. So
Sweet.
Devin had finished welding up and painting my cross brace / rad holder.
And I didn't drop it at all, right?
I did not drop it with wet paint.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, so it should be good.
Is that a rubber mallet?
It is. It did the trick, right?
Okay, yeah.
So, yeah.
What do you got there? What is that piece?
Our rad support and engine brace. So we converted it kind of into an all-for-one deal here. So let's see if we can put it back in place now that it's all mounted up.
So it ties the radiator to the middle engine mount and to the, it's like a strut tower base, engine mount and radiator brace all in one,
Yeah, the radiator brace we just kind of did because it's sort of the easiest place to tie it into. But its basic purpose is to support the engine torque, or because we only have 2 small mounts on the bottom to carry the weight, and then this will help with the torque. The factory Mustang used bigger mounts on the bottom, and they were spread further apart, so that would prevent the engine from moving. But ours are kind of close to the engine because of our smaller engine bay.
Yeah.
So then we wanted to do this one to support that. So yeah, now this is all kind of set, and this holds the rad. Top of the rad in place. We thought we were gonna have to do a strut here, but it seems like this puts quite a bit of pressure down, or enough. If we have to change this later, we will. But right now there's a bunch of hoses in the way here, so I didn't want to. This one was going to be harder to tie in to support it. But yeah, we might have to do that later, but we'll see. We'll leave it at this for now.
As far as this goes, we figured out a solution. I bought a brand new tool, or a socket, and then I just went and ground it down. So that's how we treat new tools around here. Mm-hmm. We make them work.
At least didn't cost much, right?
Yeah, and then I realized the lug nuts would work. So now we can at least fit it in here to tighten these down. And we torqued them to 90 foot-pounds. We'll have to come back and check them again. So the next thing you do, this is the other half of that. There's a bit of a, I guess you call it a hub-centric ring. And this just slides on here. You gotta line it up with all the, what was your word, thingamajigs?
Yeah, that's right.
There, that'll be, and then we got these Allen keys.
Yeah.
They just go on here. Mm-hmm. And then we'll tighten those down to? I'm not sure. What are you thinking?
They didn't come with any instructions, but I would think 40 foot-pounds ish. But just because they're Allen, we won't be able to put too much torque on them. But they do look like a grade 8 or so, or a grade 8 or grade 10. But so yeah. And
the box said these weigh 12 pounds, so gotta add weight somewhere, I guess, for certain items.
Isn't it best to add weight to the wheels?
I think so. They all they have to do is rotate and do burnouts, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Less burnouts, more go.
Yeah, it'll keep doing a burnout easily.
Yeah.
More easily.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it's.
So Tony's just putting on our what do you call those? Allen key bolts?
Yeah.
He's torquing them up, starting with 40, and then what do you figure, a 60?
I'll kind of see when it starts to feel. I don't know. Just going by feel, yeah.
And they have to come off again. Eventually we'll put some Loctite in there, but we want to ride them a bit and then torque those bolts on the inside, or the lug nuts, and then put Loctite on these.
So I'm at 60 now, and that's where they'll stay. It feels okay. Like doesn't feel like they're getting soft, but they're moving a little bit. I don't want to go tighter than that on this Allen key, because then it might be hard to take off later.
I guess the thing is, if we have to change brake rotors, Loctite on there will make it challenging, right?
Yeah. Well, soft, like I'm most worried about these four, the original Miata nuts.
Yeah. Because
it's a small stud and only 4 nuts. So those ones, even if we did mild Loctite, wouldn't matter. But I mean, we probably won't use it if we don't have to. But we'll see, I guess, if they tend to come loose on us or not.
Wheels and tires are now mounted with the hub adapters, and they're slightly narrower than the back by a little bit, but we got clearance with the adapters. That's full lock. We got room to run big brakes at some point, so that's good. Yeah, but they'll be close to the front. We'll get a nice fender stretch on there. But the tires we're running are Yokohama, where was that? The Advent AO48. They're 17-inch Mustang rims. They're 60 tread wear rating. The width we were running, but it was, I think, a 235. They're a little bit wider, but that'll be good. It's widened our car out a bit. So just kind of laid the fender on there. That's how much wider we are now. We're gonna flare these out as well, and probably camber them a bit, most likely. See down the body side here. Let's move this rag out of the way. And the back will come down, and we're building wheel arch extensions yet. We needed the height. I think I've mentioned this in another video. We needed that height because that's the Mustang top height in the inner wheel tubs. And yeah, so it looks wider, but it's the perspective thing. And when you get it from the back, then they look just right. So, and just to make sure we are narrower than the back of the car up front here, this is 3.5 inches from the wheel, or from the fender lip. And the back was 5 3/4 inches wider. So we're a little bit narrower up front if you guys do the math. That's per side as well. I just finished the driver's side quarter panel. It's fully welded now, no longer tack welded. So that's done, they're ground down. I did a lap weld. That's why it's a bit of a seam showing there. It's a little more simple to do. And the wheel tub is fully welded, including in there. And in there, that's done. That's fully welded. Underneath is fully welded. And the back corner is fully welded. And kind of feel cool about this. That's part of the wheel tub I was able to reuse to get that corner. It was almost the same. You won't see much in here, but all the same work is now done on this side of the car as well. Thanks for joining us, guys and girls, on another episode of Dad's Toy Garage. We got some good progress done on this thing today. So I guess now that the quarter panels are welded together, we got to do the wheel arches maybe next year once we've done some test runs on this car, see where they need to sit. I guess the next thing I got to do is figure out how I'm going to modify these front fenders to clear these much bigger wheels, and how to give them a stretch. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do that yet, but I'm going to have to do some thinking and planning on that. So until next time, we will talk to you later.